All right, Shalom. Shalom, giving all praises, all glory and honors unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000, the rest of the hopeful elect out there. This is your brother, the priest, Desire One from GMS Atlanta. Back with another edifying video. More news and prophecy. And it's looking like every week, man, you know, there's a earthquake taking place, major earthquake hitting, in particular, the Philippines. You know, I believe last Saturday, there was an earthquake that hit. A number of people died. And now there's another earthquake as well. So that region, that Ring of Fire, Pacific Ocean region, surrounded by those different countries and islands, are being dealt major judgment, okay? And it's all a part of the prophecies of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So this will be real quick. It says the Philippines hit, right? And this is from India Today. It says Philippines hit by another powerful earthquake just days after devastating tremor. And I did a video on that a few days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. It says a magnitude 6.0 earthquake. And these aren't small earthquakes. You got to remember, when you start getting into 7.5, 8.0 quakes, 8.5, and those types of quakes do major damage, you know, depending on where they're located at. You know, you had one over the summer in Russia, in the Kamchatka region. And I know that name just for the simple fact that there's been quakes also every other week or every month in that region. Very volatile. Okay? So something's brewing up. It says a magnitude 6.0 earthquake struck the southern Philippines early Friday, though no major damage or injuries were immediately reported. I mean, pretty much, shit, the Philippines is getting destroyed right now. Getting destroyed by these quakes. It says days after 2 powerful earthquakes, right, 2, mind you, killed at least 7 people and triggered a tsunami warning, a magnitude 6.0 quake struck Mindanao in the southern Philippines early on Friday. I believe that region was hit before. It says, according to the National Center for Seismology, the tremor occurred at 7:03 a.m., and there were no immediate reports of injuries or significant damage. Local disaster management authorities said they were assessing the impact and monitoring for possible aftershocks. So, and you can expect more quakes to hit that region, more and more. Remember, the scripture says that there will be earthquakes in diverse places, and that, like birth pains, as a woman is going through her contractions, that's how the judgment is coming upon the earth. Okay? As a matter of fact, let me try something here. Let me, let's see here. Let's see if I can find this in any one of the versions of the Bible. Okay, here we go. So you got the CSB, the NET. Let's deal with the NET first and see what it says. Okay, let me back it up. Let's see. It might be the same verses. Yeah, it's going to the judgment of the Lord. Jeremiah 49:22. Look, it would be like an eagle soaring upward, then swooping down and spreading his wings over Basra. In that day, the hearts of Edom's warriors will be like the heart of a woman with contractions. Yeah, because the judgment is coming upon these Edomites in these last days. Their kingdom is falling. But the Lord is doing it through measure, right? Through gradualism. Okay, things are getting a lot more devastating I'll say in judgment as time goes on. Okay, so let me go back here to the NET. And I want to get Isaiah 66. Let's see what it says here. And this is going to Israel, right? The hypocrisy of Israel. Okay, so I just wanted to see what these different versions have on this word here. But that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the birth pains and the contractions of judgment and prophecy in the earth. Right? So that's dealing with the Philippines. So another quake hit the Philippines. Okay? So now these protests. Now, there are protests all over the country right now. The No Kings protest taking place all over America. And I did a video on it last night. A lot of Democrats are out in the streets protesting, liberals and so forth, protesting Trump and his administration about all the things that's been going on. And, of course, now you got the government shutdown. Well, they're saying that this government shutdown could last through to Thanksgiving. So that's going to be a major blow to the U.S. All right, they're already saying that these women, hey, Isaiah 32:9, you so-called black woman, you Israelite woman, the prophets here at GMS, we've been warning you about these days to come. You're not going to get those SNAP benefits, those food stamps, the EBT, nothing. For your pride and for your haughtiness. You think that I'm independent, I don't need a man attitude is going to get you by when that mindset and that spirit is now failing. So the Lord is going to start bringing a lot of women of the elect out of that mindset and eventually into the arms of a brother. That's also of the elect, the chosen, of the Israelites. Isaiah 4:1. A lot of these brothers, right, a lot of men in Israel are going to have more than one woman. But they're going to come in the right spirit. But then for the rest of you floozies, you're going to meet your death and destruction here in Babylon because you are going to get judged by Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. So let's deal with these protests here. This is from the Jerusalem Post. It says, despite Gaza's ceasefire, tens of thousands of protesters flood Spanish cities, go on general strike. It says tens of thousands of people flooded Spanish cities on Wednesday to demonstrate against Israel, with some of the more riotous protests ending in arrests. So they're going back and forth. Hey, this is 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter, coming to pass. Tens of thousands of people flooded Spanish cities on Wednesday to demonstrate against Israel. That's pretty much what I just read. The crowds demanded an end to all diplomatic relations with Israel and for the arrest warrant against Prime Minister. Hey, they're finding out about you small hats, man. All right? You so-called white people in the land of Israel, you're Edomites. You're being found out to be the devil. You're just another you're just another flavor of Edomite. You claim to be the people, but you're not. Everybody's waking up to the fact that the black Hispanics and Native Americans are the true Israelites. And that y'all are a bunch of imposters. Facts. And now you're being found out to be a bunch of damn criminals. This is why you're getting ran out. This is why you You cavemen have been run out of everywhere, out of all these countries throughout history. The crowds demanded an end to all diplomatic relations with Israel and for the arrest warrant against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to be respected. The mass action took place despite the announcement of a Gaza peace deal, a ceasefire, and the release of many Palestinian prisoners last week. But the damage has been done. The damage has been done. Thousands of innocent civilians, right, that I'll say this, that don't have innocent as far as not having to do with the war, Hamas or anything. Children, hospitals, schools have been bombed, residential neighborhoods. But then there's supposed to be some kind of sentiment, right? Sympathy because of a peace deal after 3 years into this or 2 years into this war that's been going on. And these people see that it's all BS. So what? They're protesting and rioting over there. But there's more. Let's get more protests. Right? This is from the Buenos Aires Times. Okay? 1 dead, over 100 injured as Peru's interim leader struggles to quell unrest. Massive demonstrations erupt across Peru, demanding action against rising crime and political corruption. Interim President Jose Herdi, right, Jerry, struggles to contain unrest as crisis rages on. So the Israelites in Peru are protesting down there. At least one man was killed. This is from October 16, 2025. So just a few days ago. It says at least one man was killed at a rally in Peru's capital on Wednesday, said President Jose Herdi, as angry protests against the country's political elite rage on. And who puts them, these political elite, in power? Esau. Youth-led demonstrations have brought thousands of Peruvians onto the streets in Lima and several other cities, voicing frustration over the authorities' failure to resolve a worsening crime crisis. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to do the same thing that they're doing here in America, like what Trump is doing, and they're going to send in these different military forces to lock these cities down. The New World Agenda is going to take place all over the world. They're going to have a reason to introduce the digital ID, track you, control you, and then eventually give you the mark of the beast, which is the microchip implant. So then it won't be no protest. And if you do, they're going to be able to identify you and, like it says in Revelation 13 and 15, put you to death. This is all prophecy. Let me get a scripture. I get straight to the point. I bring this out all the time. This is Luke 21 and 9. In the Amplified Bible. All right. And this was prophesied by Yahushua himself. Luke 21 and 9. When you hear of wars and disturbances, civil unrest, revolts, uprisings, protests, right? Do not panic, for these things must take place first, but the end will not come immediately. So these things are signs of the end of this society. Okay? Unrest, right? You see unrest here? Okay, unrest, right? Well, what does the Bible say? Unrest, right? So who spoke about this 2,000 plus years ago? Right, a little over 2,000 years ago now? Yahushua himself, who the world calls Christ himself. So the whole world lives are there's no such thing as free will. Your whole life is set up according to the will of the Heavenly Father. This is why the Bible is the most precious book on the planet. You're not going to find any other ideology or religion or anything in the past, Like, you got this guy, Billy Carson, some Negro, some no name, but he tries to make a name for himself. Anyway, he tries to use the Bible in context to his Anunnaki type fallen angel philosophies. But then when it comes to the reality, when it comes to real life and what's going on, the Anunnaki shit don't add up. It don't even make sense. It cannot tell you the reason why the things that we're seeing happening are happening. But when you go throughout the whole Bible, not just using particular points and then taking them out of context to fit your narrative, but when you go throughout the whole Bible, you see that the Bible is the one true book. And since I mentioned that, let me read it. Isaiah 34. Everything is about the prophecies. Isaiah chapter 34 and 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. Okay? Not out of the Kebra, not out of the Anunnaki annals, not out of the Epic of Gilgamesh, not out of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, not out of the Torah, not out of the Tao Te Ching, the Art of War, not the 48 Laws of Power. No. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord, Yahweh, and read, which is what? The Holy Bible. And no one of these shall fail. None of the prophecies are going to fail. None shall want her mate, for my mouth that hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. The Bible was given to the prophets of the Israelites. The truth. From thousands of years ago until now. Verse 17. And he hath cast the lot for them. Meaning every man plays his part. All right, including me. I'm playing my part. And his hand hath divided unto them by line. I have my lines. Just like you get a script and you have your lines. That's why it's called the Holy Scriptures. This is a movie that's being played out. We're all actors. And his hand hath divided unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein. Everything is predicated off of the prophecies in the Bible. That's why you can't stop this book. They got to destroy religion based off the Bible in order to get a hold of trying to, keep the truth of the book from getting out. But it's too late now. The cat's out of the bag, as they say. But the prophets have been given their proper portion. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, we're not trying. That is what I'm saying. So let's get into more of these prophecies. Let's get into more of these protests. Let's see what's also going on. So this is here. Over 2,700 TLP rioters arrested across Punjab after violent protests. Right? This is out of Pakistan. Okay? In Lahore alone, 251 protesters from Tehreek-e-Labbaik, Pakistan, TLP, was taken into custody. So different people in Pakistan have been protesting. I've also spoken on this a few days ago, but this is, just an update. These are the things that are happening around the world. Now, what's happening in America today? Like I said, I mentioned it. I mentioned it last night. No Kings, right? Live. Protesters rally against the Trump administration and No Kings protest. No Kings protest live updates. Let's go to news. No Kings protest live updates. Rallies expected in NYC. Rallies expected in NYC, DC, Chicago, and other U.S. cities, right? Even here in Atlanta. There's NBC News, CNN. Protesters rally against the Trump administration and No Kings events across the country. No Kings protests nationwide expected to be boisterous and joyful. So, look, No Kings protests happened today across upstate New York. No Kings protests. Saturday marches begin around the country. And they're saying that this is supposed to be the biggest single day, even bigger than over the summer, right? These No Kings protests that's taking place now supposed to be the biggest single day protest and demonstration in U.S. American history. That's what they're saying. So this is big, okay? But all of this is a part of civil unrest, right? They're utilizing their civil rights here in America, their constitutional rights, I'll say, to protest and peacefully assemble. But, things, of course, get out of hand in certain cities and certain times. But this is what Yahweh Shai has spoken about, okay? Let's go to the Apocrypha. Let's get into the book of 2nd Ezra. In the Apocrypha, or you can call it 4th Ezra, 3rd Ezra, anyway. 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. I believe it's 4th Ezra, actually. You got Ezra, Nehemiah, in the regular Bible. Then you got 1st and 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha. Sometimes they count it as 3rd or 4th Ezra. Depending on the scholars. So let's get this here. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 3. I'll get to the point. So it says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and that's what I've been speaking on, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also, the times we're living in, of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And what we've been reading about and looking at are the signs of the end. So I just wanted to go into that, what's happening currently in prophecy. All kinds of things are taking place. Like I said, you got these No Kings protests that are live now all over the country here in the U.S. And, things are quickly down spiraling for this this empire, right? Next year, 250 years of America being in power will mark the anniversary, right? July 4th, 2026, 250 years, 1776, so forth, which when you do your research, 250 years is the average age of an empire. So, like we just read, the signs of the end are manifest. $250 years. All right, empire, right? And what do you see? The average, from the national desk, the average empire survives for 250 years is America at death's door. So we're at the end now. If you're spiritual, then you can see. Okay? Then you can see. So with that, I'm going to close out. All praises goes to Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honors again to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone of GMS that taught me this truth. Shalom to the 144,000, the rest of the hopeful elect out there, to the brothers and sisters that believe. Shalom.